Good. Please start the meeting.
Compliance. This meeting is being held in conformity of the Open Public Meetings Act. Proper public notice of this meeting was published in the local newspapers on July 14, 2014, I should say, and July 15, 2014. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believes that this meeting is in violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requires that they make a statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be broadcast by the board at a later date on cable television channel 77 and Files channel 46. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in the electronic age of computers, cell phones, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting, and if use of the device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room if you need to conduct personal business. Thank you. The next section would be the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take attendance.
Call roll. Mr. Biancamano.
Present.
Ms. Evans.
Here.
Mr. Cluffell.
Here.
Ms. Mitchell.
Here.
Mrs. Rhodes-Kearns.
Here.
Ms. Stromwall.
Here.
Ms. Tyroller.
Here.
And Dr. Gold.
Present. Why don't we now, we're going to break for executive session.
Mr. Chair, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to for our board to appoint Dr. Hernandez, our assistant superintendent, as the acting superintendent while we continue our superintendent search.
Second.
Point of order before we vote on it. We had this vote, I think, 3 days ago. Are you allowed to vote on the same motion?
Last week.
It was a week and 2 days.
Last week? Okay, call the vote.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Biancamano.
Aye.
Ms. Evans.
No.
Mr. Cluffell.
No.
Ms. Mitchell.
No.
Mrs. Rhodes-Kearns.
Yes.
Ms. Stromwall.
No.
Ms. Tyroller.
No.
And Dr. Gold.
No. Okay. We have nobody to speak on the agenda. We're going to go into closed session, executive session, to interview an applicant and to discuss personnel matters. I guess we'll need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Would somebody make a motion to take us out of executive
Motion.
session?
Second.
Okay. Please take attendance. Is there do we have to go through that?
Mr. Biancamano.
Present, Lieutenant.
Ms. Evans.
Here.
Mr. Cluffell.
Here.
Ms. Mitchell.
Here.
Mrs. Rhodes-Kearns.
Here.
Ms. Stromwall.
Here.
Ms. Tyroller.
Here.
And Dr. Gold.
Here. All right, we have a resolution that is going to be read. Does there need to be a motion to introduce it, or will you read it, then we make a motion to introduce it?
I could read it first, and we could ask for a motion after. Be it resolved that the Hoboken Board of Education appoints Dr. Richard Brackell as interim superintendent of schools commencing August 11th, 2014 through June 30, 2015, or until such time as a permanent superintendent of schools is selected and begins his duties at a rate of $605 per day. The Board of Education authorizes the Board President and the Business Administrator/Board Secretary to execute appropriate contract documentation, which will be maintained and made available for public inspection at the Business Administrator/Board Secretary's offices. Be it further resolved that the employment agreement is subject to review and approval by the Executive Hudson County Superintendent of Schools. Motion?
Okay, someone going to make a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ms. Tyroller.
Ms. Evans.
Miss Evans.
Please call the vote.
Mr. Biancamano?
Just a quick comment. I thought Dr. Brickell was a very impressive interview candidate. He said a lot of the right things and things like that. But I would have felt more comfortable with somebody with a little more insider knowledge with the Hoboken School District. So tonight, I'm going to have to vote no.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Cluffell?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodes Kearns?
I have a comment to make also.
Is that working? Okay, I feel we're showing no regard for our parents, our faculty, our staff. We have an assistant superintendent who could be an interim superintendent. It would save the district money. He's well qualified. He's been mentored by our superintendent for the past 3 years in our district. And this is no reflection on Dr. Brickell, but it sends a wrong message to everybody in our district if we don't support our own within district who have proven to run the day-to-day operations in a professional manner, that they should be given the chance to be an interim superintendent. I have an obligation to the people who voted for me as a board member, for the children of this district, and in good conscience, I vote no.
Ms. Stromwell?
Yes.
Ms. Tyroller?
Excuse me. We had excellent candidates that we interviewed. It was a very difficult decision. As chair of the Committee of the Whole for this search, I was very proud of everybody on this board because we had excellent discourse in discussing it, and I feel we worked well as a team. Unfortunately, it is not always unanimous, but I do want to say that there were candidates that we interviewed. I think all the candidates that we interviewed for both the interim and the permanent job that were not from the interim-only pool were excellent candidates, and I am hopeful that they will know that they are still being considered for the permanent position and that they will continue to allow us to consider them for that. And I wish Dr. Richard Brickell lots of luck, and I look forward to beginning working with him. Yes.
Dr. Gold?
Yes. Motion passes. Motion to close the meeting?
Motion to close?
Any public?
In public portion.
Nope. Okay. Motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
Meeting closed.